Both teams today. We'll start with the visiting Fort Atkinson Blackhawks with head coach Andy Schwantes. Batting first in center field will be Jake Willie. In right field in the 2 spot, Connor O'Brien. Over at first base is JoJo Crandall. Third base, batting fourth is Matt Romans. Interesting note that I found out after the game, tore his ACL during the basketball season. Not sure if he was going to be able to come back, and Tuesday against Parker was just his 3rd game.
That's about the 3rd or 4th person this spring that we've heard about that have come back. The kid from Burlington did that. There's a kid in Verona that did that. That's incredible that they've come that far with recovery, that you can get back that quickly.
Batting 5th is the DH, Josh Below. At shortstop, batting 6th is Ty Schieber. In the 7th spot is Braden Wixom. He'll be on the mound today for Fort Atkinson. The catcher, batting 8th, is Mason Emmerich. And in left field, batting 9th is Zach Courtier. Now for Janesville Craig and head coach Vic Herbst. 22-2 overall. Won the Big 8 conference with a 16-2 mark. Leading off the shortstop, Jack Blomgren. In right field, batting second is Austin Kraus. The pitcher, Evan Spry, will hit third. The catcher, Jacob Campbell, is in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth is Noah Berghammer at second. And batting sixth over at first base is Luke Malmanger. Center field is manned by Nick Kramer. He'll hit seventh. In the 8th spot is Caleb White in left field. And batting ninth for the Cougars, third baseman Dan Blomgren. Stepping in is Jake Willie. Evan Spry is on the mound, and the opening pitch of today's ball game is a little bit low for ball one, and we are underway.
And, a little scouting report on Evan Spry and just having a chance to see him pitch the last few years. Kid throws strikes.
Yes.
So, again, if you're Fort Atkinson, get in there and get your cuts and, try to make things happy early in the count, because that first or second pitch might be the best pitch you see in the at-bat. So I would expect the Blackhawks to come out and be a little bit aggressive.
Squares for bunt, draws back but takes a strike. It's 2-1. And I'm actually surprised if Fort Atkinson had that scouting report on throwing strikes. They're already being more patient at the plate than they were against Parker. There's one in the outside corner for strike 2. 2-2. To Willie, the leadoff hitter.
And now's where you probably see the Spry curveball, and not a pitch you want to deal with 2 strikes. So I am surprised by that. You're right.
There's a base hit to right field, playing shallow. There could be a play at first, and the throw is late. As it was fielded on one hop, playing in is Austin Kraus, and he fired to first, but opening batter gets a base hit for Jake Willie, and now the right fielder Connor O'Brien will hit.
That throw would have had you or I.
Oh, easily.
Yes.
There's no way we would have gotten down there.
No.
Kraus was playing in, and now they're shading O'Brien to hit to right center. Connor hitting .385 this season.
That's a good season. That's a good year for Connor.
Yep, not bad. Jake Willie also .385 in that leadoff spot. Top half of the lineup is good for Fort Atkinson. They faked the bunt, and now everybody's caught. There's a throw down to first, and it looked like heading back to first was Willie, but he gave a little fake step, and Jacob Campbell threw down to first, and then Willie broke for second, so it's going to be a stolen base.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem there is Jake, and I'm sure his dad will tell him, is you got to run after him. You just got to run at him and make him decide where he's going to go. By throwing back to first,
right in the middle,
he was able to get to second base easily without a throw.
So runner in scoring position as O'Brien took a ball to start with. Spry's pitch is again on that outside corner for strike 1.
Well, if that's going to be a strike all day, then
you set up there all day.
Exactly. Get yourself a little closer to the plate and adjust. But
Campbell
I'm okay with that.
Yep, Campbell already setting up a little bit to the right side of the plate. And here's the pitch. There's a bunt that's foul, and now it's 1-2 on Connor O'Brien.
And that was a bunt. If he got it down, he was trying to go down third for a base hit. And again, they call it a sacrifice for a reason. You got to get that runner over if that's what your intention is. And if he was just bunting for a base hit, that's different. But I think in this case, he was just looking to drag a bunt down third with Blomgren playing back a little bit.
1-2 the count. Leadoff man is at second base in Jake Willie. Here's the pitch by Spry. High fastball, a little bit outside, and O'Brien swings right through it. First strikeout and 1 out in the inning as O'Brien goes down. And now the batter will be first baseman JoJo Crandall.
Up and up, and got the pitch where he wanted it, and O'Brien fished, and 1 out, but still with a runner in scoring position. So you've got your 3-4 hitters coming up. A big early test for both teams. Like I say, Craig looking to just pounce early on the Blackhawks and get a big lead, whereas Fort, they probably feel like we can put a run or two up early. You never know what can happen.
Exactly. Crandall batting .333. And the season played all 25 games for the Blackhawks. And curveball to start things off, drops in nicely for a strike.
Yeah, that's his best pitch right there.
Last time we saw Spry was down here. I don't know, were you doing the game where he had to leave?
Right. And what exactly?
It was bicep fatigue.
Bicep fatigue.
I guess.
I'm not sure I've heard of that.
Well,
it happens, obviously.
They just rested him, threw him a couple innings in a couple different games, and now he's back to form. Runner goes to third, swing and a miss. Campbell's throw down there, and he's out. So Willie tries to grab a base, and he's thrown out trying to steal third, and there's 2 outs and an 0-2 count now to JoJo Crandall.
So we're already exact opposite of what Vic Herbst talked about in his
and what we saw on Tuesday.
You know, aggressive at the plate and non-aggressive on the base pass. And
now it's kind of flipped around a little bit.
You got a runner thrown out at third. Now your number 3 hitter is 2 strikes on him.
There's a foul back, just gets a piece on an outside pitch from Spry. And it will stay 0-2.
And that was an absolute laser from Campbell down to third.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, he couldn't have dropped it in there any better.
I don't know if the hands might have gotten in, but the throw was right on target. Here's the pitch. Curveball hit to short. Bouncing right into the glove of Blomgren. High throw to Malmanger. No problem over there at first. So there's 3 batters and 3 outs. Doesn't go down in order, but no runs, 1 hit. No errors, nobody left. We played a half inning at Riverside. Fort Atkinson, nothing. Janesville Craig coming up. We'll return after this from Barry down at Riverside Park. WCLO Janesville Beloit, AM 1230 and FM 92.7. And Jack Blomgren will step in.
One of 6 first-team All-Big 8 selections for the Cougars.
Will face Braden Wixom. And Wixom's opening pitch is way outside and goes back to the screen. Wixom logged the second most innings for Fort Atkinson this season.
Kind of an odd delivery, too. He kind of herky-jerky, hesitates a little bit in his follow-through, and a little bit of a sidewinder.
Jack with a .310 average, 22 out of 71 at the plate this season.
And what do you end up with, 175 stolen bases?
There's a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. 31 stolen bases, did not get caught once.
Wow, that's incredible.
And the next pitch is down low and outside. Showed bunt, took it back, did Blomgren. Wixom has won 3 and lost 3, pitched in 10 games, logged 38 innings. And here's the pitch again. That's fouled off.
And the Badger South wasn't bad this year.
That's what I was going to ask.
Edgewood was decent.
Okay.
Stoughton was decent. Oregon came on at the end. The Red Hawks from Melton won some big games. And, just a conference that probably was a little under the radar, but wasn't a bad conference this year at all.
Check swing got a piece of it. Now 2-2, still the count to Blomgren. And that's, you wonder, when you compare conferences, you talk about girls softball, the Southern Lakes is good.
Right.
But you never can tell with the Badger and who's good because the non-conference record might be a little inflated from all the games that they have to play because they only played 12 conference games.
And every conference is going to have their doormats. That's just the way it is. And, I think this year, obviously, La Follette struggled in the Big 8. But
Fort finished 6-6.
I think the Big 8 has been so strong just because Sun Prairie and Craig and even Parker was at state a couple years ago. So
inside corner and Blomgren goes down. He had already thrown the bat and wanted to walk to first, but instead he's got down looking on strikes, 1 up and 1 down. And the batter will be Austin Kraus. Uncharacteristic strikeout for Blomgren, as that's
a big out for Wixom.
Only his 10th.
You keep him off the bases, that's huge.
And the opening pitch is low and outside to Kraus. 382 this season.
The guy that Vic calls a Swiss Army knife because he can do anything.
And Kraus second on the team in RBIs. There's a fly ball to right center. Coming over from right field to make the catch is Connor O'Brien. There's 2 up and 2 down for Janesville Craig, and the batter will be Evan Spry.
Batting pitcher, Evan Spry.
413.
Is that it? That's not very good.
22 driven in.
Better production than that.
He's 31 out of 75.
And he came on. I think he was a little slow out of the gate this year, but Vic talked about second half of the year, he was swinging the bat as well as anybody.
High and outside to start with.
Other than the man on deck who
Jacob Campbell.
The bat better than anybody in the state.
And I haven't seen Sun Prairie. Is Walker Jenkins a legit player at shortstop for,
he is,
for,
and I
for
think
the Cardinals?
I think the co-MVP or Player of the Year award, a lot of that stems from the fact that Jenkins picked up a few pitching victories.
Okay.
So
there's a strike taken from Spry to even the count, 1-1.
I can tell you right now, if I'm starting a team with Big A players, Jay Campbell is number 1 and number 1A. There's nobody else I'd even think about.
Curveball that floats outside, and Emmerich has to go get that behind the plate. 2-1 to Spry. Well, and Evan benefited in that even when his arm was hurting, he had no problems at the plate.
No.
And he kept playing. There's outside corner. Corner's getting the calls today on either side.
If the home plate ump's going to stay there and call that, then that's
right.
okay.
As long as you be consistent on that.
It's not the big leagues. You don't want to have him throw them in a soup can, so that's okay.
2-2 count to Spry as Wixom shakes off Emmerich. Now he's got what he wants into the windup. And here's the pitch. There's another outside corner call, and strike 3 looking on Spry.
He's consistent.
And Craig's probably going to have to make some adjustments.
Yep.
No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We're through 1, no score. Craig and Fort Atkinson. We'll return after this from the second. Due up for Fort Atkinson, the 4-hitter Matt Romans, Josh Belo, the DH, in the 5th spot, and Ty Schieber, the shortstop. 1 hit so far in the ball game. It belongs to Fort Atkinson. We're through 1 here at Veterans Field, and no score.
Yeah, a good inning there from Wixom, and like you talked about, I think both teams, again, if the umpire stays there, found out something, and that's, we got to expand the zone a little bit.
Third baseman, Matt Romans.
And Romans will step in. There's a 1-hopper on a rope to Blomgren. Throw over to first base. Ballmanger has it, 1 up and 1 down. So swinging at the first pitch. Maybe Fort will go back to that strategy that we saw on Tuesday against Janesville Parker.
Well, and I think, going back to, I don't think either one of us were great players in our day, but we had fun, and there's not a worse feeling in the world than on a 3-2 pitch. You think it's ball 4, you drop the bat, you take off for first, and all of a sudden you get rung up. Because then you got to turn around, pick up your bat, and head back to the dugout.
Josh Belo, the DH, takes a strike on the outside corner from Spry. Quickly 0-1. Here comes Evan again. Curveball inside for ball 1. 1-1 now.
Decent crowd on hand.
Pretty good crowd.
Yep, not bad. Fort's got a nice contingent of folks here. Yep.
There's a foul back off the end of the bat against the net. Craig A.D. Ben McCormick just arriving as well.
Oh, Bobby Knight's here.
Former
Bobby Knight McCormick's in the house.
Saw former coach Suter down here as well. He rarely misses a game.
He does. Yeah, he has trouble coming to these.
That one goes outside. 2-2. Now the count on Belo from Spry.
Shout out to all the area track athletes that are
headed to lacrosse.
Yeah, good luck to all of them.
That's awesome. 2-2 pitch. It's popped up.
That's a can of corn.
That's going to be into right field. Blocking out the sun is Austin Kraus. Makes the catch. 2 up and 2 down. And the shortstop, Ty Schieber, will now hit.
Now batting shortstop, Ty Schieber.
Spry got into a little bit of a rhythm after the leadoff single.
I would say.
4 straight retired.
Schieber struggled this year. Played in 24 games. Only hit a .194. But, again, you get down to the bottom of the order here for Fort Atkinson, and this is where you really need to get those quick outs.
Well, and the thing is right now you don't have an average. I mean, this
right.
is a tournament. I mean, if you're Fort, you got an average from Tuesday playing, but, it doesn't matter now if you hit 500 or a $150.
You're going to see tougher pitching, though, in the playoffs, that's for sure. Strike 1 taken by Schieber, and Spry's 0-1 is looped over Blomgren's head into left field, bounces in front of Caleb White, and the Blackhawks for the second straight inning have a base hit and a base runner.
And the Josh Goldberg jinx lives on.
I
said
guess.
He batted 195,
well,
and he just hit a seed to left field.
I'm just reporting. That's all I'm doing.
Pitcher,
Braden Wixom will now be the batter. He's batting a .176 during the season. So runner on first, 2 outs.
Going back to that first inning, I got to believe this is the first time all year, and I didn't see Craig every game, but I don't ever remember anyone trying to steal third off Campbell, ever.
Well, I don't know whether Coach Schwantes knew that they were going to be scouting and wanted to be a little more conservative and now obviously flip the script or what. First pitch is down low from Spry.
And a lot of that, we've talked about it before, a lot of that's a jump you get on the pitcher. But even still, that's a shorter throw, obviously, down to third. And with an arm like Campbell, boy, you better have one heck of a jump, and not quite enough for Mr. Willie, and he got gunned down to really take him out of a scoring threat.
1-0 pitch. Here comes Spry. That one fouled over the first base dugout, out of play. 1-1, 2 down here in the top half of the second inning. There's no score. Regional final baseball. Winner will advance to play at 11 a.m. in Verona on Tuesday.
You bottle up this weather.
I'm telling you.
It is gorgeous.
This is great.
It is. This is perfect baseball weather.
Spry from the stretch. Here's the 1-1 curve ball. Tails a little bit inside. We seem to have lost the corner a tad.
Well, and I think we're also seeing that the home plate ump is not going to give anything real high. You're going to have to go probably belt buckle and below, but if you get it on the outside or inside corner, you're going to get a strike.
That one a tad upstairs from Evan. 2-1 pitch. Fastball upstairs for ball 3. The catcher, Mason Emmerich, is on deck. Coach Schwantes
if you're
calling.
going to run, it's a good pitch to do it on at 3-1 with 2 outs. I mean, you can put a hit and run in play, and we'll see what they do.
Schieber gets a good lead. There's a strike right down the middle from Spry. And he's brought it back to full now on Wixom, his counterpart.
Schieber will be in motion, and I would think anything in the gap, he'd have a chance to score.
Standing in now, and Evan has what he wants. Here it is. Runner goes. There's a hit to second. Bounces up to Berghammer. Only plays over to first. Malmanger digs it out, and the side is retired. So a ground out 4-3
nice
on
play from Malmanger there.
Yeah, for Berghammer shorted that a little bit.
Did. That was not
so
a hard throw.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. Fort Atkinson nothing. Janesville Craig nothing. We'll return after this from Side Park at Veterans Field. Bottom of the second. And Jacob Campbell will step in. And he will take a strike, bounces up on Emmerich.
Did you just fill our audience in a little bit on his ridiculous numbers that he's put up?
Oh, Campbell, sure.
They're just crazy.
Yep.
I think people don't realize the kind of year this kid's had.
He is 36 for 76 this season, batting .474. He's driven in 36 runs. Here is the pitch. Strike right down the middle. He's got
37 runs scored.
Yep, 22 singles, 10 doubles, 4 bombs.
That's insane.
He's only struck out 4 times. He's taken 7 walks.
And even his outs are hit hard.
And he has been hit 9 times.
Yeah.
That's more than double
which
anybody else.
In most
There's
cases,
a blast right back up the middle. Middle's wide open for Campbell.
It is.
And a ground ball in Janesville Craig's first hit and a leadoff runner for the Cougars.
Jake Campbell with a hit.
Newsflash.
Newsflash, yep. But, I mean, he just squares around and gets through the zone on every at-bat. And, you know, I know that right now he's verbally committed to Illinois, and it's a great program. But
second baseman.
I'll tell you what.
We got a scout down here right now.
He's going to get some looks from more prestigious and better schools. Not that Illinois is a bad school, but some of those southern schools are going to start to hear about him. And, you know, don't be surprised if he gets a couple more offers.
They check on Campbell twice, back in both times. Not the man that you will likely see to steal a base, although he has swiped 15.
Yeah. Well, and
there's the first pitch
taken
taken for a
right
strike.
There. Normally when your pitcher-catcher get on, you run for him right away, and Campbell, he's kind of an extra, added bonus in the fact that he's as fast, probably the 3rd or 4th fastest on the team.
Well, he's the third. Has the 3rd most steals in double digits.
Yeah, and I don't think he's been caught very often either.
Noah Berghammer, the batter. And he shows bunt. Big, high, bouncing bunt to first base. There's going to be a play, and he's out at first.
Yeah, nice play there by the first baseman.
Yeah, it was. JoJo Crandall fielding that on a hop and a foot race, and he barely beats Berghammer to the bag. But Campbell over to second and a sacrifice for Noah Berghammer.
Yeah, Crandall had a decision there. I mean, do I stop and tag him out and hope that he doesn't, get away from the tag, or do I run to the bag and try to beat him? And Berghammer's pretty fast, but Crandall slid and got the out, and Berghammer did his job as well.
Luke Ballmanger will be the batter, 345 on the season. And a quick word from Emmerich to Wixom. Saw a lot of catcher-pitcher meetings on Tuesday between Emmerich and the starter against the Vikings, Jake Willie. So they're game planning batter by batter here.
I don't like it.
Oh, okay, Judge.
I don't like it.
Don't like it.
Put a limit on it.
There's an inside fastball, and Malmanger pulls it foul past the Cougar dugout. 0-1.
Luke, another all-conference selection at first base. Well-deserved.
Dealt with a hamstring injury for a couple of games, but back in the lineup. And And Wixom comes set. Here it is. Outside corner taken. Strike 2. Quickly 0-2 to the Cougar first baseman, Luke Ballmanger.
And I think looking down the third base coach's box where Vic's nowhere near, but a little concern on his face because I think Craig right now they're taking too many pitches with the strike zone being the way it is right now.
Here's the 0-2. That's in the dirt, blocked well by Emmerich. Campbell was ready to go if that got by him. Now 1-2. Ballmanger expecting some junk on an 0-2, probably another good situation to not see a pitch, but we'll see what Wixom dials up. And here's the pitch. There's a hit right back to the pitcher. Wixom checks second for Campbell, throws to first, and there's 2 down as Jake has to stay at second base, and now Nick Kramer will be the batter with 2 outs.
Yeah, I think Ballmanger realized a little too late he wanted to swing there, and that was kind of an swing, and right back to Wixom, who made the easy out, was able to hold Campbell up at second, because Campbell on a base hit's going to score. There's no doubt, unless it's an infield single.
Well, Kramer can cash in here. Cougars in scoring position. 273 average this year for Kramer. He's driven in 14. And here's the pitch. First pitch swinging, fouled back to the net.
In the last home game for Blomgren, Kraus, Spry, Kramer, White, that's they got some pretty good memories here. A couple of Big 8 titles, some trips to state, and I'm sure they'll miss it.
Here's the 0-1. And there's a pop foul, and it's going to be out of reach, even though Crandall gave chase at first base.
That was in no man's land.
So quickly 0-2 now to Kramer. But with a wide strike zone, Craig having to sometimes swing at some pitches. And
yeah, you're not sure, but that's a case where
they've been in the hole a couple of times.
He's not throwing overly hard. Just go with a pitch and go to right field and get your base hit.
Already 2 strikeouts looking, and that was in the first inning, so Kramer got to be wary of those outside corners. Runner on second is Jacob Campbell. 2 down, here's the pitch. There's a base hit to right field. It's going to be shallow enough. Campbell's going to be waved around, and he's going to score. And the Cougars have the lead on an RBI single with 2 outs by Nick Kramer.
Just what we talked about, Josh. Just going with a pitch, taking it to right field. You don't have to hit it hard. He didn't. In between second and first, and Campbell scored easily.
RBI for Kramer, Craig's second hit of the game. And the Cougars have a lead, and if there's one thing Craig can do really well this season, and really last season, is pitch well with a lead.
Yes, and this is a case, this is one thing. There aren't a lot of things that bothered Vic during the course of the year, but the one thing he did bother him was not keeping your foot on the gas. And, he said too many times we'd get a lead on somebody. The West game comes to mind when they got up 4-0, and he said we just didn't, we didn't keep the hand or on the throat, or so to speak, and get more runs. And you just never know. We've seen enough goofy things go on that I think Vic would like to see him just get as many as they could, obviously.
Here's a first pitch swing from Caleb White, grounder to second. And Easton McGowan throws over to Crandall at first. And the side is retired. So 1 run for Craig, 2 hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. We're through 2 at Riverside. 1-0 Cougars over the Blackhawks. Top of the third coming up here at Veterans Field. We've got 1 score in the sectional to report on. It's in the bottom half. And it looks like Verona already up after 1 inning on Madison Memorial by a score of 5-1. And the other pairing in that side of the bracket is Elkhorn and Madison West. The winner of this game will face Oregon or Beloit Memorial. We'll try and get a score on that one. Here's the opening pitch to Mason Emmerich, the catcher, and it's a little high and tight, and taken for ball 1 from Evan Spry. And second offering, swing and a miss from Emmerich, 212 during the season.
Looks like he's swinging a wiffle ball bat. It's as orange of a bat as I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you haven't played softball in a while.
I haven't.
This is what the colors are now, just insanely loud.
Wow.
There's a strike on the outside corner taken, and 1-2. Hey, you got to heal up by our July tournament, guy.
I know.
I'm pulling you out of retirement here.
All right.
1-2 pitch. There's a swing and a miss on a high fastball, and down on strikes goes Emmerich. One up and one down, and the bottom of the order is left fielder Zach Courtier.
Strikeout number 2 for Spry, and again, the model's the same. Keep it low, and then when you get the second strike, up in the box and climb the ladder, and that's what he's done. Both strikeouts.
Dan Blomgren at third base comes up on the grass. There's a little wave at the ball, and it's fouled off out of play right field side. Courtier on the season. Looks like he's batting 194 heading into today.
Courtier could not play for the Yankees. Why?
Long hair.
Long hair, yep.
Couldn't play for Coach Suter either.
Nope.
0-1 pitch from Spry, taken strike 2 right down the middle. Yeah, those are some flowing locks.
They are. But hey,
that works.
You see it, Jason Worth. There's enough
yep,
guys
that's
in the
right.
big leagues that have it.
0-2 pitch outside for ball 1. He might have more hair on his face than he does on the back of his head.
It's not only that, but it's the beards that get me. I just would think in the middle of summer when it's 100 degrees that a beard would just be hot.
1-2 pitch. Way high. Campbell has to go get that one. Pulls it down. 2-2 the count. Think about that if you play in Florida.
Oh.
All the time. All that humidity with that beard.
Just crazy.
No, thank you.
I even look at Eric Thames. I mean, I wouldn't tell him it looks stupid because
he'd bend you in half.
Benson, yeah.
There's a pool cue shot right off the end of the bat. Foul. Still stays at 2-2 to Courtier. Brewers earning a split earlier today with the New York Mets. Come home to play the Dodgers starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a chance to watch that. Chase Anderson has looked very good his last couple outings.
2-2 pitch. Just a bit low, and it's full. Hey, he's last 2 outings.
Yeah.
7 innings of shutout ball.
Yep. And Sogard has turned out to be a real steal for them wherever they found him.
There's a base knock up the middle that Blomgren gets too high. Throw to Malmanger, and they get him at first. Good range from Jack Blomgren behind the bag at shortstop. I thought that was going to be into center field, but Jack with a strong throw as well. Now kind of favoring looks like his right hip flexor or his right leg.
Yeah, he threw a little bit off balance there and hope he didn't tweak anything.
Center fielder Jake
Something maybe to watch. Now he's stretching out his hammy a little bit, or his quad, I should say.
And he'll be up second next inning behind his brother. So.
There's a strike to Jake Willie to start things off. Back to the top of the order for Fort Atkinson. 2 outs. Willie, a single to start the game, stole second, and then was thrown out trying to swipe third.
And there are still people out there, and I'm, going by what the people that really know the game saying that Jack's got a chance to get drafted, and that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I talked to Vic about that today when I dropped off some stuff. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. So another 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Bottom of the third coming up, and it's 1-0 Cougars. Bottom of the order, due up for Janesville Craig, Dan Blomgren. And then back to the top. Dan Blomgren with a .321 season at the plate.
What did the Cougars hit as a team, Josh?
352.
That'll work.
Yeah, top to bottom. I mean, this lineup. Yeah,
team batting average.
And even some of the spot. I mean, Ross March only got 19 at bats, still hit .263, and that's a tough spot to have. Opening pitch for a ball shows bunt. Does Blomgren now takes one down low for a ball, 2-0 as he draws back. 1-0 Janesville Craig. 2 hits apiece. Craig with the lead. 2-0 pitch coming from Wixom. That's a strike in the outside corner.
It's funny to watch the Blomgren's brothers' mannerisms at the plate. They both kind of do the same thing. They kick a little dirt, tap on the foot.
Both have the same stirrup kind of looking outfits. 2-1 pitch. There's a smash to left field, but twisting into foul territory. And Courtier will leave that one over into the Craig bullpen area. 2-2 the count now to Dan Blomgren. Again, the winner to advance. Sectionals, first game in Verona Tuesday. That one outside and bounces up into Emmerich as he blocks it. 3-2. A full count for the 9th batter for the Cougars. And the windup, here comes Wixom to the plate. There's a base hit to left field, a line drive right over the shortstop, and Blomgren is aboard. Second straight inning, Craig has a leadoff runner.
Yep, it's like having a guy hitting ninth who's almost like a leadoff hitter for you.
But you could say that about anybody about on this Craig lineup. Dan Blomgren with 8 stolen bases.
I got to believe Victor's going to get the wheels in motion here. Speed on the bases, a good hitter, contact hitter up to bat, and
they check him right away.
I think you're going to see something before this at bat's over with.
All right.
Don't think he'll bunt because it's just too many good hitters behind you that you don't want to give up outs.
Third base is up, and he got hit right square in the back.
Foul ball. I think he ruled it foul off the end of his bat. And Jack's saying it hit his elbow. Umpire said, no, it hit the knob on your bat.
Well, then why is Dan at second base?
I don't know. It's a good question.
The umpire pointed to the pitcher.
The only other thing I can think of is that
there was going to be a...
he must have ruled it a strike then. Trying to bunt, get out of the way, he ruled it a strike. Must have got his bat through the zone.
Okay.
That's the weirdest play I've seen in a long time.
There's strike 2 looking. You're having problems with your pen.
My pen,
there.
Yeah.
0-2 the count. Or you should say 0-1.
It's got to be 0-2.
He just showed one.
I don't know then. I don't know what's going on. It looked like it clearly hit something.
I'm not even sure what happened. We're trying to figure it out.
Oh.
The three of us can't figure it out.
Unless he called a balk.
Well, he pointed to the pitcher.
Okay.
So maybe there was no pitch.
Yeah, maybe it was a balk.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
All right.
Let's go with a balk. That would make it what? No pitch on the first one should be 0-1.
So maybe he did get hit in the elbow, but the pitch didn't count anyway.
Because he ruled a balk before that, yep.
All right, so it's 0-1. And on second is Dan Blomgren as we finally get that figured out. That's generally what the home plate umpire does in the balk. You point to the pitcher.
Right.
And there's going to be a throw back down to second, and Dan Blomgren sliding in safely on a pick back.
Right idea by Emmerich,
I should say.
But he double clutched before he threw it, and that just gave the runner enough time to get back.
He was already out of his crouch. He knew he wanted to throw down there.
Right. Just got to let it go.
So 1-1 the count on Jack Blomgren. Struck out to start the game. Looking. Here's the pitch from Wixom. Little bit outside. Maybe 2 innings ago that would have been a strike.
Been a strike, yep.
2-1 the count to the Craig top of the order man, Jack Blomgren. Runner on second. Cougars not with an out yet in this inning. And the pitch down low, another one, and Blomgren has to crawl back to the base. Kind of got out in front of him a little bit. And he hits the ground hard and needs a second. But he's back in safely. Throw skips away from the bag. 3-1 is the count.
Good hitters count for Jack here. See if he can drive something into the gap, right center with a big opening.
Crandall's still way up at first. And the pitch. There's a hit right back up the middle. And Dan's going to come around, and it's going to be 2-0 on the bobble from Jake Willie, but he wouldn't have had a play anyway.
Nope.
That is an RBI single from Jack Blomgren, and Craig extends the lead by a run. It's 2-0.
Balk comes back to haunt him, and
I would say,
again, another good piece of hitting there. Just going with a pitch, not trying to pull it, because I think you try to pull it in that situation, you're just going to pop it up. But like we saw with Kramer on his RBI single, you just go with a pitch that's outside. Jack did that, got it in the hole in between short and second, and 2-0 Cougars.
4 base hits now for Craig. And the batter will be Austin Krause. Takes a strike on a bunt that he draws back on.
And I would think Austin would bunt here. 2-0.
Well, and
your 3-4 hitters coming up next.
Going to wonder if Jack's right leg is going to prohibit him from.
Yeah, and I don't know. We don't know what the severity of that injury was.
Krause with a fly out to right field in his opening at bat. Takes that one, a ball up high. 1-1 the count. And Fort Atkinson very concerned with some base runners. And now Coach Schwantes is out for a brief talk. Murph, did you see anybody in the bullpen down there? Yep. Somebody up?
There is somebody up,
All
yes.
right. Well, it doesn't look like there's going to be a pitching change. Looks like they're just
No, this is more strategy.
talking
I think.
strategy. Yep.
Figuring out where you're going to go on the bunt. And
It's the bottom of the third. It's 2-0 Janesville Craig. 4 hits for the Cougars. Fort Atkinson just with a couple. Nice tap on the chest to Braden Wixom, and everybody departs.
And this is another thing in the game of baseball that's changed from 20 years ago, and that's everybody meeting with everybody.
Right.
Coaches all over the place. Guys on base coming over to talk. Guys up to bat coming over to talk.
My grandpa would do that in Little League.
Yeah.
And he'd say, get out of here. Go back to your positions. 1-1. Curveball, and there goes Jack Blomgren. The throw is high. They wouldn't have had him anyway, and it's a stolen base.
I think the leg's all right.
Yeah, I would say so. And a runner now on second in scoring position. Pitch was taken for a ball, 2-1.
Still nobody out, 2-1 count.
Yep.
Again, look for Kraus to try to get something to the right side, get Blomgren over to third, because then you've got Spry and Campbell up who are pretty much automatic with less than 2 outs of getting that runner in from third.
Here's the pitch, squares again. A little high and outside, 3-1 to Austin Kraus. And this has the potential for Fort Atkinson to slip away very, very quickly.
Very quickly. You put Kraus on, then you've got Spry, and then that's followed by Campbell, who, hasn't made an out since April.
3-1 pitch from Wixom. Squares to bunt, gets
Great
it down
bunt.
left side of the mound. Wixom needs to have a long throw over to first, and he gets him as McGowan was covering from second, but a sacrifice for Austin Kraus. And Blomgren goes to third. There's 1 out, and the batter will be Evan Spry.
Now batting pitcher, Evan Spry.
Spry with a strikeout looking to end the first inning. And you can better believe he's accounted for the expanded strike zone in his second at bat.
Yeah, I think you'll see him be aggressive here.
Runner on third, already 2-0 Janesville Craig, 1 out. And the opening pitch is smashed to right field down the line. It's hooking. It's just inside the line. It's going to get all the way in the corner. Spry's going to have at least a double. He's going to try for third. Throws cut off at second base and thrown into second. And an RBI triple for Evan Spry. That ball couldn't have been more than 6 inches fair.
No, it wasn't, but, we just talked about it. Look for him to be aggressive because of the strikeout the first at bat, and the first good pitch he got from Wixom. Drilled it down the right field line, and like you talked about, 3-0 with a runner on third and 1 out, and look who's up to bat.
Jacob Campbell. So 5 hits now for Craig. 2 are in this inning, 1 out, and a runner on third base. Campbell, a single, and the opening run scored for the Cougars. He pops one up. It's going to get out of play, right field side, just past first base. Again, the Fort Atkinson bullpen is busy. And
can't tell the number, but
okay.
Somebody's down there.
I would imagine it's going to be a pretty short leash if there's any more damage in this inning.
Yeah, you can't fall behind too much because, Spry has certainly settled down since allowing the leadoff single, and you get down 4 or 5 runs to a team as good as Craig, you're in serious trouble.
That one outside and blocked by Emmerich. Check swing laid off by Campbell. 1-1 the count. Berghammer to follow. We'll look for a Beloit Memorial Oregon score between innings. There's a hot shot through the hole in the left side between short and third, and it is now 4-0 Janesville Craig on an RBI from Campbell.
The beat goes on for Jake.
I would say.
It's just
2 for 2.
He is just in a
Second
different
baseman.
Today.
He's playing a different game right now than everybody else.
So Campbell aboard at first. And it looks like we're going to get a pitching change.
Yep.
Second visit from Coach Schwantes. And we will likely head to break as soon as he takes the ball from Braden Wixom. We'll adjust for the pitching and defensive changes. So we'll step out bottom of the third. It's 4-0 Cougars, 1 out, and Noah Berghammer at the plate. We'll be back after this. Ike Jensen is the new pitcher for the Blackhawks. Coming in, he's appeared in 3 games, has thrown only 3 1/3 innings, but has thrown 21 strikes, 10 balls, and has yet to register an ERA, so nobody has scored off of him. He's got 1 strikeout, also has not given up a hit yet. has not walked a man either. And does not even have a walks or hits per inning pitch. So, effective relief, but
it lists
really not tested.
Position-wise, it lists Ike Jensen as utility, and I'd say that's exactly what he is, utility. I think Fort's just looking for something here to
Atkinson, number 12,
plug the dike, so to speak, before they can try to rally in this game. But
Noah Berghammer will be the batter. Berghammer with the sacrifice bunt to first base last inning. That helps score Campbell. Jacob is at first base.
And he'll be on the move.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jensen on the mound. We're in the bottom of the third. 3 runs are in. It's 4-0 Janesville Craig. Jensen checks Campbell at first. Gets into the stretch. Here's the pitch. Bunt shown. Campbell takes off. It's in the dirt. And Emmerich doesn't even have a chance to get off a throw.
No, that was all off of Jensen there. You can't let somebody with 15 stolen bases get that kind of a lead, not throw it back over there. But he didn't, and I said he's going to go somewhere, and he took off on the first pitch because he got a huge jump.
Second stolen base of the day for Janesville Craig. And the pitch was taken for a ball. 1-0. There's a foul pulled into the front of the Craig dugout. 1-1. One out. Runner at second. Scoring position again for the Cougars. Here's the pitch. Curveball did not curve and floats right over the head of Berghammer, who stands in there, as always, fearless whenever anything gets close.
That was a lollipop there.
Can't seem to track down a Beloit
I
Oregon
checked
score.
my Twitter account earlier today and didn't see anything. I think
right.
the problem is Flickinger from Beloit.
Yeah, he's over at the Turner game.
He's at the Turner game, and but Jim Franz, I'm not sure if he's on Twitter.
2-1 pitch is blasted right back up the middle. Willie's going to bring it in, and there's going to be a play at the plate, and the runner is safe. Campbell comes in to score, and it's going to be an RBI for Noah Berghammer. He winds up at second base.
Things are getting away from the Blackhawks.
I would say so. It's 5-0, and Jensen greeted rudely.
Yes.
So an RBI double for Berghammer. And
single. Second on the fielder's choice, throw to home. Yep.
And Luke Malmanger will now be the batter. Malmanger with a ground ball to the pitcher on kind of an excuse-me swing in his first at-bat last inning. Still a runner in scoring position. 5-0 Cougars. Pitch from Jensen, curveball way up high. And Emmerich, his catcher, out to talk with Jensen. One-0 the count.
We're trying to decide whether we should advance to second on the air or not, but I think Berghammer was already going to second when the throw came, so technically I guess I'll just rule it as a fielder's choice.
Okay.
Because you can't assume an out at the plate.
You're going to call an error on that. And here's the pitch to Malmanger, inside corner for a strike. 1-1.
Bottom line is Fort's on thin ice right now.
That's right. And we talked about it earlier.
They cannot give up anymore.
No. Jensen trying to get out of here in relief. 7 hits for the Cougars. Checks the runner, but now comes to the plate. Blocked by Emmerich, and now Berghammer's going to go, and he's going to be in safely at third base.
Wild pitch in the dirt.
Batting first baseman, Luke Malmanger.
So a wild pitch, and Malmanger now one more base away from scoring for the Cougars. I should say Berghammer is. 2-1 is the count.
Good instincts there from
only one. Yeah, as soon as that bounced. And
he got a good jump, and he's fast. I mean, he was going to get there anyway, but he forced a throw, and you never know. Sometimes that throw goes down the left field line. You can waltz in.
Jensen comes set and comes to the plate. That hit Malmanger on the elbow and a free pass, and Things are getting from bad to worse for Fort Atkinson.
Yeah, he didn't make much of an attempt to get out of the way.
No.
I guess the umpire could have said no, but stay here. But he didn't.
Batter will be Nick Kramer, first and third now with one out. And Coach Schwantes calling the defensive strategy from the dugout. And now we're going to get a courtesy runner, and that'll be Ross March, who will run for Malmanger. Don't want to test that. Still kind of.
Cougars go down in order in the first inning with 2-3 outs with strikeouts looking, and 7 hits in the last 2 innings.
I would say that's a pretty good adjustment after those first 3 batters.
That's what I was just going to say. Is it's a matter of making the little adjustments, realizing where he likes to throw, and now with a new pitcher, they've had no trouble adjusting to him with a base hit and a hit by pitch.
So it's 5-0 here in the bottom of the third, and Craig's still in business with only 1 out and runners at the corners. Nick Kramer with a RBI single that scored the Cougars' opening run last inning. And here's the pitch from Jensen. Takes that for a strike.
And I don't think Vic would have put March into run at this point of the game unless he were going to set things in motion here, because, Malmanger can come back in on a re-entry, but, you've lost March then.
Here's the 0-1. Outside, there goes March, and the throw is not going to be cut off. It goes into center field. Coming in to score from third is Berghammer. Throw down to third, and March all the way around to third base from first on the throw from the catcher that went into center field.
Yep, E2, and Berghammer will score unearned run there on an error, and March goes all the way to third with a stolen base, and he advances on the error. So just what we talked about. Vic knows what he's doing. That's why he's coach of the year. He brought in March for a specific reason, and that was try to disrupt Ford's defense, and he did. It's
6-0 Janesville Craig, and a 1-1 count as Kramer took that one. Here's the 1-1. Curveball is on the outside corner for a strike. So a runner at third for Craig is Ross March. And the on-deck hitter, Caleb White. Kramer at the plate, facing a 1-2 count. Still only 1 out in the inning. 5 are in this frame. There's a base hit to center field, and it's going to be 7-0 Janesville Craig. Kramer with his second RBI single and his second hit today, and he makes it a 7-run lead.
And again, nothing fancy, just a good approach at the plate. Put the ball in play with a runner on third, and that's what he did. Fort's got the infield in. I don't know why they'd have the infield in with a runner on first. So we're going to get another pitching change, I think.
That's going to be it for Ike Jensen.
Yeah, Ike didn't have his best stuff today.
No, he did not record an out.
No, he didn't.
And Jensen is gone. So we'll get another pitching change for Fort Atkinson. Run down that and the defensive adjustments. 7-0. We're here in the bottom of the third. Craig with the lead. We'll be back after this from MMPR and Fagan Automotive. The new pitcher for Fort Atkinson will be the designated hitter, Josh Bilo, a lefty. He has appeared in 9 games, has not recorded a victory, but he's taken 5 losses, thrown 27 and a third innings, 223 strikes to 145 balls. And Bilo has a 4.52 earned run average. He's given up 32 hits, struck out 19, and has a walks and hits per innings pitched of 1.67. So Bilo will be the new pitcher, and a lefty.
Now pitching for Fort Atkinson.
And Caleb White will be the batter.
We can now close the books on Wixom, who goes 2 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned.
Ouch.
No walks and 2 strikeouts. And those 2 strikeouts came in the first inning.
Right, 2 out of the first 3 batters. And opening pitch from Bilo is in the dirt outside, scooped by Emmerich. Fake to throw down to Kramer at first. 1-0 the count.
Bilo looks like the proverbial crafty left-hander.
Yes, he does.
Crafty left-hander.
Caleb White with a grounder to second base in his opening at bat. Squares for bunt, draws back, but takes a strike. 1-1.
I think if you're Fort right now, really, other than keep playing hard and try to, salvage a couple of runs, is try not to get 10 run. That's
pretty much the goal right now. It's 7-0. And the throw over to first. Everybody knew that was coming. And I asked you off the air. I know they do this in softball, but do we have a 15-run rule after 4?
And that's a great question. I don't remember seeing it in tournament or during the regular season, but
doesn't mean it can't happen.
Doesn't mean it can't happen. No.
1-1 pitch, taken low for a ball. 2-1 to Caleb White. Dan Blomgren set to bat for the second time this inning.
5 straight Cougars have reached base, and 7 of the last 8. The only out this inning comes on Austin Krause's sacrifice.
Who got his job done.
Yep.
And that's outside. Throw down to second, and the runner is going to be thrown out.
Nice throw.
Kramer out at second, caught stealing for the second out, and 2 down now.
Perfect throw by Emmerich there. It was just a great throw, and
Kramer
got a good jump.
He caught 2 Vikings stealing
that was a good throw.
On Tuesday.
Now if they can get White here, talking about Fort Atkinson, if they get White, then they don't bat around the order.
3-1, another grounder to second. Slow roller. McGowan up with that easy throw over to first to Crandall, and the side is finally retired. So for Janesville Craig, the Cougars put up 6 runs on
6 hits.
6 hits.
1 error.
We had 1 error, and nobody left. Fourth for Fort Atkinson, opening pitch from Evan Spry to Connor O'Brien is taken for a strike. 0-1. O'Brien struck out in the first inning for the first out for the Blackhawks.
Close the book on Mr. Jensen, and I hope he had an ERA coming in, because if he
did not.
He does not have one now either, because he's got infinity for an ERA of no innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned. No walks, hit batter, and no strikeouts. So a tough outing.
That is not very good numbers.
No, I don't even know how you'd write that down on the stat sheet.
Well, figure it out for your story.
Put a lot of 9s next to it.
Sideways 8 for infinity.
Yes.
There's a foul back after a swing and a miss. It stays at 1-2 to the opening batter for Fort Atkinson here in the top of the 4th.
And I think
Connor O'Brien.
I think he's seen exactly what he wanted to out of Evan Spry. Throw strikes, get kids out, get ahead.
There's a called strike 3, and O'Brien down for the second time, and that is Spry's fourth strikeout.
Yeah, and again, getting back to Evan, you come off an injury. I don't care what kind of injury it is. At this point of the season, we're into the tournament, especially with those 2 games on Tuesday that Craig hopes to get to.
Right. Which right now it looks that way.
Yeah, you want to have the guy that came into the season as your number 1 healthy, and it looks like he is right now. So that's a big plus for Craig, because then they can go either Wolfley that first game against Beloit, if they play Beloit or whoever it might be, and save Spry, or they can go vice versa. And it's a nice option to have that I would say 90% of the teams in the state don't have that option.
2-0 quickly as Spry misses outside twice to JoJo Crandall, the first baseman. There's a fly ball to center. Kramer having to go back and track, and he runs it down in right center field.
Nice play from
Good pop by Crandall, but Kramer with a long run. They had him shaded to left center, and he had to travel quite a ways, but makes a running catch.
And Nick's one of those guys. He's never going to get the headlines he should, but I'll tell you what.
Hey, 2 for 2, 2 RBIs right now.
His career, overall career, has just been great. 2-year starting quarterback, made that offense go.
Really good 6-man off the bench.
Great 6-man off the bench in basketball, and Vic loves him here because he can do anything, and he just keeps his mouth shut, keeps his head down and plays hard, and that's what you want.
There's a smash to left field, twisting foul into the Cougar bullpen.
And I believe I heard that Nick was going to lacrosse.
I think that's right, yes.
Yeah, and I hope he plays, because certainly the Eagles with a great program there, and he'd be a nice asset for that.
Looks like the Cougar bullpen is busy.
Yep.
So might be Spry's last inning. Save that pitch count so he doesn't have to wait a couple of days. But
somebody go take the fence down so we can see who's warming up. Is that possible?
That one's a ball. 2-1, and Spry comes back. High bouncer to Jack Blomgren. It's going to be a long throw across his body, and he gets him at first. What a play.
Yeah.
Jack Blomgren showing range over near third base, and a throw across his body to retire the side, and Matt Romans. 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th, 7-0 Cougars. We'll be back after this from Culver's of Janesville and City Car Star on WCLO Janesville Beloit and online at WCLO.com. Josh Belo will stay on the mound for Fort Atkinson. for another inning for the Blackhawks. Dan Blomgren set to lead it off in the 9 spot, just like he did last inning, and the Cougars put up 6 runs. Mitchell Wolfley up in the bullpen out in left field for the Cougars, and Spry at unofficially 53 pitches on the count.
Yeah, if you're Craig right now, you want to get your 3 runs,
yep,
get your 10-run lead, play defense, and get out of here and move on to Tuesday. No sense of messing around with anything else.
Blomgren shows bunt, draws back, and a pitch high and outside for ball 1.
And you can tell just by looking at the stances and the mannerisms from the Fort guys, they're down a little bit. You know, they just realized that we ran into a better team.
That's pretty much it.
That's what happens.
That one taken for a strike. 1-1 now to Dan Blomgren.
It's a case where for Fort, you know, if they play Craig 50 times, they might only beat him once, and you got to hope that today was at one time. But
ball in the dirt, bounces
doesn't look
away.
like that
no,
way for the
I'm
Blackhawks.
afraid not.
No.
Looks like down at the State Line Sports Complex, top of the 4th, 5-4 in favor of the Purple Knights over Oregon.
Okay, all right. And I would imagine Betancourt probably threw for Beloit.
I would imagine that. High and outside, again drawing Emmerich out of his crouch. 3-1 is now the count to Dan Blomgren.
I think when you look ahead to Tuesday, and let's assume Craig's going to be there.
You know what? I'm
going to.
I'm kind of comfortable
go out on a
with
limb
that.
if you want. That's fine.
No, that's okay.
But I think when you do, you got to look at the fact that if somebody's going to beat Craig, they're going to have to score 4 or 5 runs probably.
At least.
You're not going to see a 2-1 game or something like that because Craig's going to score runs. So you're going to have to put up 4 or 5 runs, whether it's West or Beloit or whoever that
or
might
Verona.
be, and hope that you get solid pitching and can hold them to 3.
Verona hung with him for 5 innings last Thursday, and then Craig dropped, I think, 5 or 6 on him in one frame.
Right.
And they throw back as Blomgren works a walk. And so now back to the top of the order, Jack Blomgren, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI, a stolen base, and a run scored. And again, that other game in the sectional is Elkhorn and Madison West, opposite Verona and Madison Memorial.
And I don't know if I saw on Twitter a score on that one or not. Usually there is.
West is pretty good about
that. Good about it. Yep. So let me double check while the play goes
All
on.
right.
And
1-0 is the count to Jack Blomgren. Dan is at first. Below's pitch is taken for strike 1. Nobody out, runner on first, and again for the 3rd straight inning, Craig has its leadoff batter aboard.
And I would expect Vic to keep his foot on the gas here, and you'll see, I would assume, Dan in motion at some point.
Here's a pop-up. Right field. Camping under it is Connor O'Brien, and he's got it for 1 out. And Austin Krause will now be the batter. Dan Blomgren returns to first base.
Right fielder, Austin Krause.
No update from
Madison
West yet, but I can tell you that Beloit Turner's Kalen Packard, who I got a chance to see the other day.
Yeah, I saw you did that game.
Retired 18 straight batters since Evansville reached on air to open the game. She has 15 strikeouts.
Oh,
so
my.
That's not bad.
Not terrible.
It's not bad.
Throw back to Dan Blomgren. Did you get a score on that game? It's still
scoreless.
Scoreless after 5?
Yep.
Okay. And that game over at Delavan Darien, correct?
At Darien, yep.
Right.
Where the corn boil was.
Right, Cornfest. There
Cornfest,
you go.
Yep.
As the pitch gets away from Emmerich, he can't find it, and almost going to third is Dan Blomgren. It popped away about 10 feet to his left.
Yep.
And he just couldn't find it.
No, he couldn't. And Dan hustled around second, but
thought about third, but wisely
and at that point,
held up.
Emmerich came up with a ball, and he'd have been out from here to Cleveland.
1-0 the count to Austin Krause. 0 for 2 today with a sacrifice and a fly. Little check swing, and fouls one off first base side.
Yeah, Augie's about due for a hit.
Yeah, he is.
Doesn't have one yet, and he had a great season for the Cougars and earning all conference honors. Well deserved.
Did he come in batting after the season? 382. Not bad.
No, and like I say, he can play anywhere.
1-1 pitch from Below is inside, pops away from Emmerich again, and Blomgren heads down to third. So that's 2 free bases for the sophomore.
Good instincts on the bases from Dan there, and now you've got, instead of a runner at first with 1 out, you suddenly, after 2 pitches, got a runner at third and 1 out.
Do you play small ball to get an extra run, or let Krause hit away here?
Well, 7-0, and with your good hitters coming up, I would imagine he'd probably be swinging away, but I don't know.
That one goes high, and it's only 3-1. as Kraus thought that was ball 4.
So did I.
Murph was on top of it.
Murph he knows what's going on.
Sometimes.
That's why he gets the big bucks.
Oh, yeah. So 3-1 is the count to Austin Kraus.
Augie's like, I'd rather get a base hit anyway.
Probably. Now he squares to bunt, lays one down first base side. This is going to be a tough play. Over to get it is Bilo. And a sacrifice RBI for Austin Kraus as Blomgren comes into third. It is 8-0 Cougars.
Well placed, perfect bunt. A little bit harder. He beats that out, but got the job done. And 8-0 Cougars and 2 away from making this a 10-run game and possibly a 5-inning game.
Evan Spry will be the batter. Bags are clear, but there's 2 outs. 8 runs on 8 hits for Janesville Craig.
And if you're a Craig fan, you're hoping for a Spry to get on and
Campbell to hit a
Jake
bomb.
Campbell to launch one into the tennis courts.
Field looks good.
Field does look good. Shout out to Bob Shank and his crew for getting it ready and having it well manicured as always.
That one inside on Spry. Took the opening pitch for a strike. 1-1 now to the Cougar pitcher, who might have thrown his last. We'll see if Wolfley's going to come on. There's a pop-up tailing towards the foul line, left field. Under it is Romans at third, and he makes the catch in foul territory for out number 3. So for Janesville Craig, 1 run on no hits and no errors.
Nobody left.
We head to the top of the 5th inning. It's 8-0 now, Janesville Craig. New pitcher for Janesville Craig is Mitchell Wolfley. Going to be one of the cornerstones of this team for the next couple of years.
Yeah, always nice to be able to come out of the bullpen with a guy that led the Big 8 and wins with 5. That's a nice luxury to have for the Cougars.
And I got our first experience of that gorgeous day in Milton on April 1st.
Yes.
When we saw him make the Milton Redhawks turn them into mincemeat.
Yeah, and I think in talking to Pat Campbell and certainly Vic, they're the first ones to tell you that when the game slowed down for him and he didn't try to do 1,000 things at once, that there's a reason he's got 5 wins in the Big 8. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
So Wolfley is now on for Spry, and Spry will go to third to replace Dan Blomgren.
Atkinson. In the top of the 5th inning, pitcher Josh Bilo.
So Bilo will be the batter to lead things off for the Blackhawks. First pitch is swung on, and one hop right back to Wolfley. Jogs over and underhands to Malmanger, and there's 1 up and 1 down.
Close the books on Evan Spry, and a very good outing for him. He'll go 4 innings, give up 2 hits, no runs, obviously none earned, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. So a very productive outing, and exactly what Vic Herbst wanted from his senior heading into Tuesday's sectional.
Opening pitch now is a strike. Wolfley, another guy that can pound the zone and a little bit, probably a couple of more miles an hour in the velocity category.
Yeah, and like you said, you touched on it. I would think in the next couple of years he's going to be one of the better pitchers around.
There's strike 2 looking to Ty Schieber, the shortstop.
I'm sure Fort Atkinson's thinking, well, good, they're bringing in a reliever. We'll be able to mop up on this guy. And all of a sudden he comes in and throws in the mid-80s. And
0-2 pitch. That one dug out by Campbell in the dirt. 1-2 the count. 1 up and 1 down for Fort Atkinson.
Really just a typical Craig game. Manufacture some runs, put a big inning together.
Always constant pressure.
Yep. Get good defense. And
that one by Campbell outside.
Great start from Evan Spry. I mean, that's why Craig is where they're at, and that's why, I would be not shocked, but I'd be very surprised if they don't find their way back to Grand Chute.
Can't wait to say that whole stadium name. There's a fly ball and a line drive to center, but Kramer right there to get it. Good contact from Schieber as he had a base hit in his earlier at bat, but a line drive fly out to Nick Kramer, 2 up and 2 down.
Yeah, another good play from Kramer there. He just gets a good jump on the ball. He seems to know, where he needs to be and anticipates well. And as soon as that ball left the bat, Nick was right there and got a good jump and made it look like a routine play, actually.
So Braden Wixom will be the batter. Started at pitcher. And takes a first pitch strike from Wolfley. Second offering from Mitchell. Curveball drops low in the dirt. Dug out by Campbell. 1-1.
And I think with Pat Campbell giving signs here for the pitcher, I think he's obviously gotten more confidence with Wolfley to throw other things other
Sure.
than his fastball, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, you can't in the Big 8. You can't just be limited to
No, you can't.
one or two pitches.
No,
you need
because, and we saw that today with Craig. After that first or second time through the order, kids, they make the adjustments.
Strike two looking now. The 1-2 drops low. 2-2. Wolfley looking to make quick work of the Blackhawks in the fifth with 2 down and a 2-2 count to Wixom. And here it is. Down low again for ball 3. And Wixom has worked it full on him now. A fielder's choice to second base.
Wolfley's got that frame that, he's big and he's still got some growing to do, I think. And I would expect him, I know he plays summer ball with a team out of Madison, I believe I heard. And, I would think if he could add 3-4 miles to his fastball, he's going to be very good.
Popped up first base side. Malmanger giving chase over by the fence.
Out of play.
And out of play. My view was impeded.
Malmanger got to the fence, but it landed about 3 rows deep into the Fort Atkinson fan section, and it looks like everybody's okay there. So, play on.
Glad we don't have I'm glad we have fences on both sides, and I'm glad there's not a tree in play at Jones Park. That was the first for me on Tuesday.
Well, I saw something today I hadn't seen in a long time in the Brewer game when I'll let him throw this
3-2 pitch. There's a ground ball to shortstop. Comes up on Blomgren. Strong throw over to Malmanger. He's got it. 3 up and 3 down. We'll touch on that when we come back. 6-3 on the put-outs, and Fort Atkinson is gone in the fifth. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Half of the fifth coming up, 8-0 Janesville Craig. We'll return after this. Josh Goldberg and John Barry, Janesville Gazette sports writer at Veterans Field in Riverside Park. Craig with an 8-0 lead, bottom of the fifth inning, and the Cougars need a couple of runs. And we'll move on to Verona.
Yes, they will.
Leading off for Craig at the bottom of the fifth.
We will have that first game, and if there is a second game, hopefully, we will have that one also next Tuesday. So we'll have a full day of baseball for you. And the opening pitch from Below to Jake Campbell pulled the string on him to start with on a changeup, and Campbell out in front of it.
Swing and a miss by Jake Campbell, which again, that probably last time that happened was game 2 of the season.
Pretty rare. So Below ahead in the count, 0-1 pitch, taken for strike 2.
No, but getting back to the
Brewer game.
Watching the Brewer game today, and the Milwaukee Bat Boy.
Oh yeah, I saw this on Twitter.
Yeah, he's sitting on a chair doing his job against the fence, and there's a pop-up behind home, and it goes to the Brewer dugout. Well, the Bat Boy picks up his chair to try to get out of the way. Well, he tried to get out of the way of the catcher, but he didn't see the third baseman coming in. So they bumped into each other. Third baseman dropped the ball. Home plate umpire immediately called him out. Council protested. The crew chief came in, called him safe.
There's a bouncer to short, and Schieber has it. Strong throw over there. Campbell is gone, 1 up and 1 down, and the batter will be Berghammer. Go ahead.
Called him out, and that got Mr. Terry Collins, the Mets manager, ejected. And he used some choice words that I'm not going to repeat here.
That's
good.
Bill
Schroeder, who's been around baseball a long time, said he doesn't remember seeing anything like that. And I don't recall ever seeing anything like that where he just, he tried to get out of the way and he just couldn't.
Made contact.
They just said it's, there's no way we could rule it that we could call him out.
Berghammer lets one skip under his feet on the opening pitch from Below. Noah today 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. And the 1-0 pitch now from Below. Slow curve, did not break. Winds up high and outside. 2-0. Luke Malmanger on deck.
Did you get down here last weekend at all? Well, the concession stand opened for the first time in 20 years.
Nope.
Yeah.
I see the sign when you drive in all the time.
I wonder if they're selling lollies for a nickel, you think?
Oh, man.
My goodness.
That's an easy one for me.
Yes, me too. Go get a foul ball and get a lolly.
Right. 2-1 pitch. Berghammer barrels one up to center, way back on it, but settling under it is Willie in center field, and there's 2 up and 2 down as Berghammer is retired. Luke Malmanger, the first baseman, will now bat.
Free Willie. Had no trouble going back on that one.
I bet he's never heard that before.
Never. Not once. I hate that movie.
Well, too bad you're stuck with it for the rest of your life. Malmanger today 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch, also scored a run after Ross March ran for him.
Oops.
Bouncer to third to Romans. He can't handle it. And a routine ball, and Malmanger will reach on an error.
Second error of the day for the Blackhawks, and it just kind of came up on a little bit. But
yep, but he'll tell you should have had it.
Yep, as my good friend Mike Brooks, who I think is listening, would say, can't let the ball play you. You got to play the ball, and that's not what he did. He's back on his heels. And
center fielder Nick
Kramer. E5.
Nick Kramer will now bat, trying to continue his stellar day at the plate. First pitch from Bilo is outside. Nobody's running for Malmanger this time. And Kramer 2 for 2, 2 RBIs, but was thrown out, caught stealing at second in the third. 1-0 pitch from Bilo, taken for strike one.
How about a 2-run homer here from Nick?
I would be impressed.
I would be impressed, too. I'd be so impressed that I'd close my scorebook and head out of here.
Bilo out of the stretch, comes set, and the pitch. Curveball drops in, outside corner, good pitch.
Yeah, nice pitch there. That's his best pitch yet.
1-2 on Kramer.
He has had the Cougars a little off balance, so.
A little bit.
Maybe.
Starting Campbell off with a changeup. I don't think anybody expected that.
Should have gone with this kid to start the game.
1-2 to Kramer, and the pitch. Curveball again, and Nick stays alive, fouls it off.
Well, that's what good hitters do. They'll find a way to foul off good pitches and get one that they like and drive it somewhere.
Caleb White would bat next if Kramer can reach. 2 down now for Craig. 8-0 Cougars, bottom of the fifth. And time definitely running out for Fort Atkinson. Here's the 1-2, and that hit Kramer. So White will get a chance. And there's 2 on with 2 out. Well, we're going to get a pinch batter. And that'll be
Wolfley's going to hit for himself.
Okay.
Now batting pitcher, Mitchell Wolfley. Courtesy running at first base for the pitcher, number 17, J.J. Brennan.
He would get her. Right here.
Through some pretty effective innings, and also Romans with the game-winning hit up the middle in the bottom of the 8th inning, and in only his 4th game back from ACL surgery over the winter sports season.
That's impressive.
Especially when you come back to bat cleanup.
I mean, that's a year for some people.
You don't play
never come back
all season, and then you're automatically inserted into the 4 spot.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
So we'll see where Bilo goes after he is pulled. But the runners on first and third are his. And Dan Blomgren will be the batter. He is 1 for 1 today, has a walk and a single, and has scored 2 runs.
And like I say, with the score 9-0 in the 5th inning, I got to believe that at some point Vic's going to try to get one more run in and get this game over. He's got good speed on the bases, and we'll see what happens.
Braden Wixom is now at third base. Here's the opening pitch from Romans. Curveball drops in for a strike.
Changes defensively for Fort Atkinson. Now pitching number 22, Matt Romans. Braden Wixom is at third base. Easton McGowan is in at second base.
So 0-1, checks the runner at first. Everybody's safe. 2 down, runners to the corners. The winning run is at third. There's the outside pitch, and now a throw down to third, and he's safe. That was close.
That was close.
Throw was not made to second as Wolfley headed down there. Or actually, Brennan, I should say.
Brennan.
So Brennan's now on second, and Kramer broke momentarily, and then Emmerich fired one from his catching position back to third, and Kramer just beat it back to the bag. So 1-1 the count to Dan Blomgren. Runners second and third. So we need a hit. There's a curveball up high.
Wild
2-1. Yep. And Kramer also a guy with good speed. Can score on that.
Error. There's like 100 ways you can score from third. Catcher's interference.
2-1 the count. Romans to Blomgren. There it is. It bounces away, but not too far.
No,
barely makes the grass, and Kramer has to hold. It's 3-1. Craig trying to get out of here in 5 innings. It's 9-0.
What are the Cougars overall going to be?
23-2.
They'll be 23-2?
Correct.
Okay. It's not a bad season.
No. There's strike 2 looking, and Blomgren knew it. Yeah, and the only 2 losses, a pair of 1 runners to a second seed in their sectional and one of the top 5 teams in the state.
They lost to West on some wind-aided home runs, and Sun Prairie beat them in extra innings.
3-2 pitch coming to Blomgren. Here it is. Fastball is in fair territory. Romans can't get it, and the game is
over.
Going to be over.
Base hit, RBI.
A high bouncing ball to the pitcher. Romans couldn't get it. Blomgren beat it down to first. Kramer was running all the way. And it is a 10-0 regional final championship for the Janesville Craig Cougars, and they will advance to sectionals on Tuesday. Final score 10-0. We'll be back to wrap it up here at Veterans Field after this from Culvers of Janesville and Janesville Mobilizing for Change on WCLO Janesville Beloit and online at WCLO.com.